Hey guys, we're doing something a little different today. It is still spook season, don't worry, I haven't forgotten, we haven't just stopped this thing mid-party. But while I was setting up to do my Halloween and autumn photo shoots with the smaller animals, I realised that this would be a great opportunity to make a video on photographing smaller animals. Not only is this something I get asked about quite a bit, but I've noticed that this year a lot of people seem to be doing these taking Halloween pictures of my pets kind of videos, so I guess I'm jumping on the trend boat. It's a train, why did I say boat? Train. Choo-choo. Anyway, as you can see, I've got some coloured things going on behind me. Those are the starts of my setups. I am setting up in the Billy XL and I have to address a little thing. I made a mistake in September? Sometime before October, I said that I would be posting the Billy XL upgrade video in October. When I said that, I had totally forgotten about spook season. I'm an idiot, I know. A few of you have been asking where that video is. I haven't forgotten, I just, at the time, forgot. So I'm an idiot, but you were kind of aware of that anyway. So, you know, who's really at fault here? The background material I choose to use in the majority of my photo shoots is just simple A3 card. I buy this for about €1 a sheet down at Jumbo. I have a bunch of different colours I've collected over the years and I try and keep them in the best quality possible, but they do end up with like little scratches and tears and paw prints. I use a bit of tape to hold them in this position where they've created this curve, and this is how you get that really smooth, seamless background. You simply just create a curve with whatever material you're using, whether that's fabric, whether that's cardboard, whether that's whatever. You create that curve, you're gonna have a really nice, smooth background. Because this is a Halloween/autumn photo shoot, I have the colors black, I have brown, and I have a rather bright in-your-face orange, which I don't know how I feel about this yet. We'll just have to wait and see how the pictures look. Now I'm just going to add a few seasonal props to each of the background, and the great thing about Photoshoot, because your animal is being fully supervised, you get a little more leeway on what you can use. Things that perhaps you wouldn't want to put in their cage because they would be unsupervised in there, you can use in a Photoshoot. So for example, I have here, this is just a very soft plastic skull. I spray painted this gold. Now this is not something that I would put in my pet's enclosure because the plastic is just too soft for my liking, but because my pets will be fully supervised around it during the photo shoot, I don't have to worry. Obviously this rule is within reason. Don't be putting anything poisonous or actually harmful near your pets during a photo shoot or any other time. Please use common sense. Something extra I need to mention when it comes to taking photos is that you should not put animals together that don't already know each other and live together. When it comes to animals that live in enclosures, you can take photos of them with anyone who already lives with them in the same enclosure, but if they don't already live together and haven't been bonded for a while, do not put them together, even for just a photo or just a few seconds. It's really stressful for the animals. It's irresponsible. It's just not okay. Even if they're a naturally social species, because if they aren't bonded cage mates, they will just perceive the other as a rival and a threat. And obviously, this goes even more so for solitary animals. If you've spent any time practicing photography, you probably already know the most important tool you have when it comes to taking photographs is light. Now for me, I have always preferred to use natural lighting. I'm very lucky that the office I have has a huge window that I'm sat in front of now. That's why my face is half lit and half in shadow. But this is where I put my sets, whether it's in here, whether it's set up wherever. I always put them in front of this big window to get all the natural light in. The only downside of that, of course, being that because my animals are crepuscular and nocturnal, I get far fewer opportunities to take photos of them, because if they're not up at this time of day, well, there's nothing I can do. Luckily, I know that at least zinc and osmium are awake right now, which is why I'm able to do this. Of course, you can use artificial lighting as well. It's a lot more reliable, it's a lot more controllable, but it will give your pictures a slightly different look to natural lighting, so it really depends on what you prefer to use. When it comes to the type of camera you use, you don't have to be using anything swish and swanky. The body of the camera doesn't make a huge difference to the quality of the photos. The lens is really the important part of it. Now, I'm using a camera that I've had for, I don't know, maybe 7 years? I've had it a long time. It was newly released when I got it. It is now extremely outdated and I really need to get an upgrade, but I love this camera so much. This is the Nikon D7000. This was definitely a more expensive body, and like I said, you don't need to have a really expensive body. I just liked all the extra features that came with it. And the lens I'm using is still a pretty popular one to use. It's the Sigma 30mm fixed lens with 1.4 aperture. The other lens I love to use for photographing my rodents is my Nikon telephoto 55 to 300mm lens. Again, this one was pretty pricey. I bought this several years ago. There's probably better and cheaper ones on the market by now, but telephoto lenses are great for getting really close-up shots. The only downside being A, you really have to have a lot of light to them, and B, you have to be stood quite far away. Not only will having a good lens help you to take much better photos of your small pets, but also understanding the basics of DSLRs, understanding how shutter speed works, understanding how f-stops work, ISO, white balance, just all the basic things that you will need to learn when you're first getting started with a DSLR. Understanding just the basics of those will help you to take much better photos, so it is worth spending the time watching YouTube videos or reading articles online just to understand how to work your camera properly. Also, as with any other hobby in the world, you do have to practice. The more you practice, the better you will get. I have been practicing photography for over 10 years now. I think it's about 12 years at this point. So I've had a lot of practice, and I don't do it constantly. I just do it when I have free time. But even so, if you look at the pictures from several years ago compared to my pictures now, there is still a big improvement. Number 1, make sure your sets are completely 100% ready to go before you put your pets in them. Make sure the lighting is good, make sure all the props are in the right place, make sure your camera is set up. Take a practice shot of the set without an animal in it just to make sure your aperture is good, your shutter speed's good, everything is right and ready to go. Not only will this make things a lot easier and smoother for you just to get the nice photos straight away, but it will also keep the session much shorter, which is important for your pet. Which brings us on to point number 2, keep the sessions short. The longer the sessions, the more irritated your pet is going to get and the less cooperative they're going to be. If you keep it short, if you keep it down to say 5 or 10 minutes at the most, you're going to get the best out of it. After that point, your animal's going to get bored, they're going to walk away, they're not going to cooperate, and you're not going to get any good photos anyway. Number 3, make sure you do not lose focus of your animal, and I don't just mean the focus on the camera, I mean literally don't lose focus on them. Sometimes you can get behind the camera, you can get so distracted by that they can slip away very quickly and get themselves into trouble. So be very aware of where they are, make sure they're not walking away from the edge. When you look down to check a photo on your viewfinder, just keep one eye on them to make sure they are still safe, and obviously try and make the set as safe as possible as well, like this one where we've got 3 walls, they've only got 1 space, they could potentially wander off. Tip number 4, never underestimate how easy it is to bribe an animal with treats. If you want to get them in a certain position or sniffing at something, standing in a certain way, give them a treat. They will be so happy to do as they're told. To increase the chance of you getting that perfect photo, take as many pictures as you can. And if your camera has a burst mode setting, use it. Avoid using the flash on your camera, as the sudden burst of light can be very startling for small animals, as well as potentially hurting their eyes. While photographing your pets can be great fun and a great opportunity for bonding, just keep in mind that your pet's safety needs to be your top priority. And if they aren't feeling up to being in a photo, if they aren't feeling up to posing, don't force them to do anything they don't want to. Don't wake them up to take a photo. Don't force them to sit in a certain way or stand somewhere they don't want to be or they don't feel safe, because all you're going to do is stress them out, make them upset, and possibly even break your bond. Remember that your pet is a living, feeling creature and not a prop. So as cute as that picture might be in your head, as much as you may want to take it, if your pet is not feeling safe and secure and comfortable in that pose or in that location, then do not take the photo. It's also important to work at their pace and not yours. Wait until your animal gets into the position you want and then take the photo rather than forcing them into it yourself. And of course, you need to accept that sometimes you just won't get that photo that you wanted. Maybe you can try again another day, or maybe you'll just have to completely give up. And that's okay. That happens to all of us. That's it, the basics of photographing hamsters. And like I said, it gets easier the more you practice, so if you're serious about wanting to get some good photos, make sure you're practicing all the time. Obviously, post-production editing also plays a huge role in getting lovely photographs, and I'm not sure if you guys would be interested in seeing this, so let me know if you are. But if you want to see how I edit my hamster photos, I will try and do that for you in a future video. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up. You can also share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.